The FIRE movement, which stands for Financial Independence Retire Early, is a movement that emphasizes frugal living and cutting expenses wherever possible to make it so you can save and invest as much of your income as possible. After 10 years, only making $50,000 per year and assuming no increases in your income with inflation or promotions or anything like that, you'll have nearly $500,000 saved up. You can play with the numbers however you'd like, but as you can see, the Financial Independence Retire Early concept and movement is a very powerful one. What's up everyone? I hope you're having a wonderful day and thank you for clicking on this video. So the FIRE movement has been spreading around lately like, well, fire. But what exactly is FIRE? And how is it going to help you get financial success in the near future? Well, basically, the FIRE movement, which stands for Financial Independence Retire Early, is a movement that emphasizes frugal living and cutting expenses wherever possible to make it so you can save and invest as much of your income as possible, so that you can eventually not have to work anymore and just live off the dividends of the money you have in savings. At least for me, when I heard about this movement, I was blown away with how you could save enough to retire in 5 to 10 years, basically regardless of where you live, if you have a decent enough income. But you'll only retire early if you hit the like button on this video, because that's what's going to get you to retirement. No, but seriously, if you could, I would greatly appreciate it. It helps with the YouTube algorithm and gets my video on search results and whatnot. Anyways, with that being said, let's jump right into it. And be sure to stay to the end of the video to see your one personal improvement homework assignment for the day. So let's run through the basics. The first step to figuring out what you need to do in order to be financially independent and retire early is figure out how much money you're making every month and how much you're spending. Sounds pretty simple, right? If you watched my last finance video, linked here, you will see just how to do that. But let's do some calculations here. Let's assume you're spending $1,000 per month on living space. Whether you rent or own, it doesn't matter at the moment. This is what you're spending. I know for some places in the United States, this might seem unreasonable, but for the most part, it's more than doable. Even if you're near San Francisco, travel an hour in any direction from downtown and you can find rents that are close to this number. Also, if you have a significant other that you live with, each of you could say you're spending $1,000 per month on living space. Then let's say you're spending $30 per month on your phone bills. There are some very good plans with major cell phone carriers that you can get at the cost of this amount or less. Just go to Walmart. And again, you can split the bill with your significant other and say that it's $30 per month for each of you. For example, Mint has a $15 per month 3 gigabyte phone plan. And along these lines, you have decent internet for $50 per month. Next, let's bundle up utilities. This includes electricity, gas, water, trash, etc. And say you're spending $150 per month. This varies with location and the size of your living space, but let's just say $150 per month for simplification purposes. We'll get into the location specifics in a bit. Next, we'll talk about car insurance. Typically, you can get some decent coverage for around $50 a month. But again, this varies with location and vehicle type. But if you're into the FIRE movement, you probably already understand that driving around a Ferrari is not frugal, and you can instead drive around maybe in a Ford Escape, or a Honda Civic, or something like that. So let's assume you're driving around a Honda Civic, and therefore your insurance is a reasonable amount of $50 per month. Next, we'll talk about car gas. And again, since you're frugal and you understand that buying a gas guzzler isn't going to help you save for retirement and live comfortably, you have a car that gets decent gas mileage. Because of this, you only pay $150 per month on car gas. Next, we'll talk about car payments. Now, if you understand that most cars are rapidly depreciating assets, and you spend much more on the car with a big loan that charges high interest than you would if you just bought it outright, you shouldn't have a car payment. But I understand that cars are big purchases, and even getting a decent used vehicle like a 2014 Ford Escape will still cost you over $10,000. So let's assume you have a car payment, but it's also reasonable because you put a big down payment down. So your car payment is therefore $150 per month. Then comes the groceries. Groceries are one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to saving money and budgeting appropriately. Most people want to eat caviar on a beer budget. And because of this, despite having 4 kids and working a job that only makes you $50,000 per year, we'll shop at Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and places like this. While the quality of food is fantastic at these stores, the quality is reflected in their prices. I've helped people with their finances who positively refused to stop shopping at these expensive places, and they would spend literally $800 a month on groceries despite only having $50,000 per year. It was maddening. For anyone trying to retire early and become financially independent, this just doesn't make sense, and you shouldn't do it. Really, you shouldn't. So let's say you're wise to all of this, and you shop at grocery stores that are more reasonably priced. And because of this, you only spend $200 a month on groceries. This is another big pet peeve of mine, as so often people just simply don't pay attention to how much they eat out and end up literally spending thousands of dollars on this per month. That same couple I was telling you about before that would spend $800 per month on groceries would also routinely spend between $200 and $400 per month on eating out. That's a lot of money spent on food. But again, you're more savvy and you only budget for $50 per month eating out. For those 1 or 2 special occasions where you want to have a date night, maybe take each other to a movie, have some popcorn or something like that. Then, just to cover all our bases, you have incidentals. This includes things like deodorant that you, for some reason, suddenly run out of mid-month, toothpaste, notepads that you need for work, things like that. We'll say incidentals comes to $50 per month. So with all that said, your total monthly expenses come to right around $1,930 per month. Now, let's say you make $50,000 per year. $50,000 divided by 12, that comes to about $4,200 per month. So $4,200 per month income minus $1,930 per month expenses, and you're literally saving $2,236 per month, or about 53% of your income. This is only making $50,000 a year. That comes to $26,832 saved every year. If you multiply that by 10 years, you will have $268,320 saved up. Now, let's assume you sock all of that away into a Vanguard ETF that makes you 7% interest per year. That means the total amount you saved after 10 years would be $428,320. Wow. After 10 years, only making $50,000 per year, and assuming no increases in your income with inflation, or promotions, or anything like that, you'll have nearly $500,000 saved up. Now comes the really fun part. The financial independence retire early movement is based upon the idea that you can take 4% of your savings and spend that every year, and you will still have money in your savings after you die. This is based upon what is known as the Trinity Study, where Trinity College looked at historic growth rates in stock markets and ran through this thing called a Monte Carlo simulation to see the likelihood of having money left in your savings accounts after X number of years, assuming you took out Y percentage of that account every year. This study determined that if you take 4% out of your savings every year, there would be around a 97 to 98% likelihood that your money would last you until you die. So with $428,320 in savings, you could take out right around $17,132 per year, and that money would be almost certain to never run out, even when adjusted for inflation. This might not sound like much, but let's say you do get income increases over time. You live in a much cheaper area, and you go to an even further extreme with your savings. By the way, what we've talked about so far is not extreme. So now you're making $75,000 per year. Let's say you have no car payment. You get the ultra cheap phone service for $15 per month, and you find a super cheap place to live that's still safe and comfortable for $700 per month. Go to the Midwest, and this is actually pretty common. Now, suddenly, you're only spending $1,445 per month, and you have an income of $6,250 per month. Now, each month you're saving $4,805. Now, mind you, this isn't accounting for taxes, so keep that in mind. This comes to a whopping $57,660 saved every year. Save that for 10 years in the same 7% interest Vanguard account, and after 10 years, you have $753,700 saved up. Now we're talking. This means at 4% taken per year, you can take $30,150 out and still have money left over basically forever. You can play with the numbers however you'd like, but as you can see, the financial independence retire early concept and movement is a very powerful one. And if this is all still confusing to you, with compounding interest and savings rates and 4% rule and all of that, you're not alone, and don't worry. Take your time. Digest these steps as many times as you can and really set yourself up for success in the future. Getting rich in a smart way is not a sprint, but a marathon. Yeah, I know it's cheesy and cliche, but it's true. Well, anyways, that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Remember, small bites at a time is the key to success. And with that, here's your self-improvement homework. A small, incremental step you can take to grow yourself exponentially over time. Do 5 sit-ups at the end of this video. Bye.